Joining me now by way of the University of Texas, who is a member of the United States Walker Cup team, and by virtue of his great performances at the amateur level, collegiate level, finished sixth in the PGA Tour U ranking, which got him status immediately when he left the University of Texas onto the Korn Ferry Tour and said, you know what, yeah, top tens are nice. How about winning, as he did in his fourth start? He's got five top tens and 6 starts on the Korn Ferry Tour. He is Tommy Morrison. He joins me now. And oh, by the way, tall drink of water at 6'9". Very well-appointed room you're joining me in this morning. How you feeling?
I feel great. Thanks so much for having me on. This is a lot of fun for me.
Well, listen, it's fun for me. It's fun for the viewers. You know, it's interesting when someone like yourself makes a choice to go to a school like the University of Texas. It's like football or basketball, these great programs. You were the it kid, and then you go and you're surrounded by a bunch of other it kids. Getting acclimated to being around people who are the best, wherever they came from, was that comfortable for you when you transitioned from high school junior golf to the University of Texas?
Yeah, well, that's very nice for you to say. I don't know that I was the it kid at Texas. I feel like I was surrounded by some of the best student athletes on the planet, maybe some of the best athletes in general. But I think I went to college early too, and graduated high school early, went to college a semester early, and I think I definitely just jumped straight into the deep end, and there was definitely a lot to learn quickly. But I feel like I managed it pretty well, and couldn't be happier that I got to play golf at University of Texas.
Well, you know, you got a couple of teammates who, like yourself, were so good at the college amateur level that you had enough points to have Korn Ferry status. Those teammates are already got top tens themselves on the Korn Ferry Tour. How did you look at your summer, knowing you're going to have this immediate opportunity? How did you assess the starts you knew you had until the end of the season?
Yeah, I think later in the spring, I pretty much knew that I was going to play on the Korn Ferry Tour. Ben James and Christian Moss in the spring were playing so well, they kind of ran away from everybody to potentially get that #1 spot and play on the PGA Tour. So that was kind of out of reach late in the spring. And then, I think I had got enough points to where I wasn't really going to fall outside that number 10 spot. So I was kind of just in the middle ground there, which, freed me up and allowed me to play some better golf late in the spring season. And I knew that I was, going to play this, the back half of this season on the Korn Ferry Tour. And I didn't know much about the golf courses coming in, but I think I was pretty acclimated to professional golf. I played a couple events I played the Byron Nelson on the PGA Tour my sophomore year of college, and then got a start into the British Open around that time too. And I think I kind of understood what professional golf would look like. Obviously, coming out here, it's a lot different. It's a different ball game when you're actually the one playing in it. But I had a pretty good idea, and it got off to a great start.
You sure have. Yeah, you had a pretty good idea. For people who don't know, in 6 starts, you've already shot 63 or better 5 times. That includes shooting 61, add a couple of 64s. Did you have to change your mindset at all, knowing that those numbers were required to contend and win?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy how low you have to go. I mean, there's the depth on this tour is pretty absurd. You can't really let up at all. The second your brain starts to wander, your mind goes off. That's maybe a half a shot or a shot there that at the end of the week could cost you. But I think the golf courses in college are a lot harder than the ones that we play out here. Just maybe the way they set it up, it's super challenging, and I think a lot of times you're shooting rounds around par in college, maybe a couple under, maybe a couple over, and you're still kind of always in the fight. But you shoot anything around par and Korn Ferry Tour, just doesn't really work. You don't really have that choice. So
no, you got to be 7, 8 under just to make the cut.
Yeah. I don't know if that freed me up, but I guess it definitely, got me into that mindset quickly of like, you you better start going pretty quick,
Well, you did. Like I said, you've already got a win. You were in a playoff as well, the 5 top 10s. You're in great position, obviously, to be on the PGA Tour next season. One other thing about college, I had Farrah O'Keefe on during the Arnold Palmer Cup week, and what a pistol she is. She's great at sharing thoughts. I would imagine the men's and women's teams, at Austin Golf Club, you guys probably shared a lot of time. And I asked her about, how can you make your teammates better at college while you're simply trying to be the best you can be? How would you answer that question?
Be there for them. I don't know what Farrah said, but I'm sure she had something good. It seems like, she's just doing everything right. She's an awesome person, and seems like she plays well every single time she tees it up. So maybe she had a better answer than what I'm going to have, but I think golf is still an individual sport, and it's tricky in college because you're on a team, but the better each guy performs, the better the team's going to perform. So whatever it may be, maybe help your teammates realize what's best for them. Some guys we had some guys in college that didn't really practice all that much, and we had other guys that were out there all day, and that's all they wanted to do, and both performed great at a high level. So maybe figure out what's best for your teammates, and always kind of remind them that that's what they should be doing.
Tommy, your answer wasn't better. It was just different. We're not grading answers here.
Yeah, that's a nice way to. Yeah, I hear it. I get what you're doing there. Yeah.
You partnered with Jackson Koivun at the Walker Cup in 2 foursomes matches. Because Nathan Smith's going to be on the show here right after you, and he was your captain. Why did the Koivun pairing make sense?
It really wasn't much more than after a couple days we were on the team bus going back to, I think, the hotel, and Ben and Stu were paired together. I think Mason Howell and Waldleski were together. Ethan Fang and Preston Stout seemed like they were going to go together, and that kind of left myself and Jay Summy, Lasasso, and Koivun, and I just kind of looked at each other and we were like, we'll go together. And that's exactly how that went down, which I wish there was a better story for that. But I think, I don't know, that's really it. And it worked out great. I was obviously the happiest kid on the planet. I think if Jackson Koivun asks you to be your partner, you don't really say no to that. I feel like he's one of the best players in the world right now. So, and has been for the last 4 years. So yeah, I was happily said yes to that very quickly.
What Tommy, about Jackson Koivun, for people who are getting to know him more, obviously in terms of, he's already won on the PGA Tour. You guys won in the same week, which there's good symbolism there. You went on the Korn Ferry Tour. He wins on the PGA Tour. What is distinctively impressive about the way he goes about it?
I think a lot of people talk about his putting. A lot of people talk about his mentality, which they're 100% right. They're both one of his great attributes, but I don't think people talk about his distance control, and it's just his golf ball control. I remember at Cypress when we were warming up for the Walker Cup, those couple days prior, he had his quad out there, and every wedge shot, if it was playing 135. As soon as he hit it, it said 134 to 136 on the quad, whatever the number was, 95 yards. It was going to say 95 on the quad. He's just really, really good. He controls his golf ball to a really high level, and I personally thought that his distance control was like nothing I've seen before.
It's one thing I mentioned your height. And Christo Lambrecht is right there with you. There have been some tall players, but one of the things you did in the last year and a half was you really altered your diet, and you've leaned up significantly. Explain to people what you did, because it's not that you were in poor shape, but you are super lean now. How did you do that?
Well, I felt like I was getting chubby, so I wanted to lose weight, and I could definitely see it in my face. I was just big. Um, so I went overseas to play golf the last couple summers and lost a bunch of weight over there. Started feeling better, and then when I got home, I just did. They call it like a carnivore diet. I just did basically only protein for 2 months, no carbs and no sugar. Um, and I lost a bunch of weight, and now I've kind of been at the same weight for a long time. It was not fun, and I definitely have no plans of doing it again because I love carbs.
Well, you live in the right place to get some carnivore, being in Dallas, Texas. It's funny, the young man looks at his face and says it's getting chubby. The middle-aged man looks at the kettle, the gut, and goes, oh man,
Yeah.
I gotta get out and start walking. When you were growing up, you played other sports. Did playing basketball help you in any way as far as your path in golf?
I think so. I mean, playing sports in general, especially with how athletic guys are in golf now, I think any sports are great. I played basketball until I was about 12 years old, and then um, knee got banged up, and you kind of get to that age where if you're gonna travel and play it seriously, you got to pick one and go with it. And basketball was kind of off the table, but yeah, I mean, I love basketball. I thought it was awesome, and I had a blast doing it.
Scheffler loves basketball. Have you ever tried to pin him down in the low post? Have you ever played any hoops with him? He appears to me to be a banger, probably tries to get away with a lot of cheap fouls. Have you ever played any hoops with Scottie?
Yeah, he seems pretty cheap. I've never played him, but I'm sure I've actually watched him play, and he's pretty good. And I definitely don't stand a chance, but
no, you stand a chance. I mean, you can pin him. You're 6'9". He's like 6'2" and a half. You can wear him out in the post.
Yeah, I can't really jump, and I can't really shoot. So those are not great attributes for the basketball court.
No, yeah, Jay Billis would not rate you very high in a combine preparing for the NBA draft. Before I let you go, I know that you and your teammates who had enough points to get onto the Korn Ferry Tour were paying attention to that. Have you paid any attention to how much the PGA Tour is likely to change here over the next year and a half?
I have a little bit. I think guys were talking about it. There were some meetings recently, and I really like what it sounds like they're going to do. I think guys will have a better understanding of where they're going to play, what tour they're going to play on, and what their schedule is going to look like. So I think for the most part, it's going to be a really good thing. That's kind of all I have heard or looked at. I don't really. I haven't looked at it too much. I think if the change was next year, and it would alter kind of what my season would look like next year, then I would look into it more. But I mean, it still sounds like it's going to happen in 2028. So, I've got enough to focus on right now.
Well, you focused very nicely making the transition from college golf to professional golf, already having won, being in the top 10, 5 out of the 6 starts. Before I let you go, Nathan Smith is coming up. What was his best attribute as a captain for you on that Walker Cup team?
First of all, Nathan's a clown, so make sure you have the mic, make sure you have the mute button and the edit button ready. I don't know if you can do that, but no, Nathan's awesome. He was the best captain I think you could ever ask for. I can't imagine having a better one, and I'll always remember how calm and collected he was the whole week at Cypress. I think it's easy to probably ramp up the emotions and get nervous, and he was the coolest cat. He was the coolest cat there. Cool, and people forget how good of a player he was and still is too. I mean, how many Masters he played? 4 Masters, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. 4-time Mid-Am champion. Like you said, playing in a handful of Masters tournaments as well. Hey, listen, thanks for carving out a little time. Keep doing what you're doing because you're headed to the PGA Tour soon enough. And give my best to your mom who corralled all those pictures of those dogs for all the guys on the Walker Cup team. Thanks so much, Tommy.
I will. See ya. Thanks for having me.
You bet.